terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan.
Tahun 2021 merupakan tahun mencabar buat semua pelajar SPM 2021. Ramai yang tercicir dan ketinggalan disebabkan perubahan gaya pembelajaran yang dulunya bersemuka dan kini ke alam maya. Oleh itu, Yayasan Impak terpanggil untuk bersama-sama mengatasi masalah ini. Akhirnya, Impak SPM 2021 dapat membantu pelajar SPM get back on the track. Dengan tenaga pengajar dari Majlis Guru Cemerlang Negeri Kedah disokong oleh Majlis Pengetua Sekolah Malaysia, anjuran bersama Yayasan Sultanah Bahiyah YSB mendapat dukungan KPM dan JPN. Berkat sumbangan para penaja, program Impak SPM 2021 dapat dilaksanakan dengan jayanya. Yayasan Impak mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kepada penyumbang yang telah memberikan sumbangan dalam merealisasikan kejayaan program Yayasan Impak. Terima kasih kepada para penaja yang telah banyak menyumbang. Salurkan sumbangan anda bersama membantu pelajar yang terjejas dan ketinggalan dengan Impak SPM 2022.
Semua menuju kejayaan.
Program santunan pendidikan Impak SPM telah dilanjutkan untuk tahun 2022-2023 sebagai meraikan permintaan dan cadangan agar usaha sulung Yayasan Impak tahun lalu diulang dan diperluaskan tahun ini, memandangkan keberhasilan dan kejayaan yang telah terzahir dari inisiatif tersebut. Program Impak SPM tahun 2022-2023, beberapa penambahbaikan usaha telah dilaksana. Pendekatan PDP program pula dipelbagaikan. Fokus tumpuan daerah juga telah diperluaskan dan beberapa aspek teknologi juga telah ditingkatkan. Maka, di samping PDP digital secara maya dalam talian, usaha telah dimantapkan pula oleh PDP Bengkel bersemuka bersasar BBBB dijuruskan kepada sekolah-sekolah yang dicadangkan oleh Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri dan Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah berdasarkan kelumpungan atau ketidakcukupan aspek-aspek tertentu di sekolah-sekolah berkaitan. Cadangan BBBB ini telah mula dicadangkan kepada Pengarah Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Perak yang berbahagia Tuan Haji Aznan Haji Alias semasa kunjung hormat di pejabatnya pada 11 Mei 2022. Beliau telah menyokong cadangan ini dan menyarankan Yayasan Impak mendapatkan kerjasama PPD, dukungan perlu dan kerjasama pelbagai pihak. Maka PBBB sulung telah dilaksana di Batang Padang Perak. PPD Encik Osman Bahari telah mencadangkan Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Air Kuning, sebuah sekolah sukan bola sepak, untuk menerima program yang dinamakan Bengkel Revolusi Kecemerlangan Guru dan Pelajar. Program mengandungi dua fokus kumpulan sasar. Untuk pelajar, bengkel fizikal PDP 2 dari 6 mata pelajaran teras SPM iaitu sains dan matematik. Untuk guru-guru pula, bengkel pendekatan meningkatkan kecemerlangan pelajar-pelajar SPM menitik beratkan asas dan tuntutan KSSM dan kepada yang baru diperkenalkan di SPM 2021. Justeru, ada mereka yang belum menghayati sasaran maksud dan kemastian kurikulum ini dan teknik memahirkan cara dan format penilaian serta pemarkahan yang memungkinkan skor tinggi dalam peperiksaan SPM. Program Bengkel Bersemuka Bersasar ini telah diadakan pada 26 hari bulan Ogos dan telah mendapat sokongan penuh oleh Pengetua Encik Nur Azmi Murad. Turut dihadiri oleh Tuan Muhammad Halmi bin Miswan, Wakil PPD Batang Padang, dan rombongan rakan penganjur program iaitu Kelab Bakti Gunung Keledang KBJK Perak. Bengkel Sains telah dipimpin oleh Cikgu Ismi Kamarul Syam, anggota Majlis Guru Cemerlang Negeri Kedah MGCNK dan pakar rujuk Subjek Sains untuk pelbagai program KPM. Beliau juga mempunyai pendedahan pengalaman dan penyertaan pelbagai bentuk pendidikan antarabangsa Jepun dan United Kingdom, terutama di bidang pedagogi dan teknik meningkatkan prestasi dan kecemerlangan pelajar-pelajar. Bengkel sains ini telah memfokuskan perlunya pemikiran kebat untuk KSSM Sains SPM, format KSSM Sains SPM, format kertas 1 serta tips untuk skor kertas 1 di mana semua terdapat di dalam buku teks. Kertas 2 bahagian A, terdapat 4 soalan yang semuanya aras adalah sama. Terdapat 1 soalan aplikasi bagi setiap soalan yang boleh diaplikasi dalam kehidupan seharian. Kertas 2 bahagian B, terdapat 6 soalan. Semua soalan adalah berbentuk fakta. Terdapat 2 soalan reka cipta yang mudah iaitu soalan nombor 9 dan nombor 10. Pelajar hendaklah menggunakan semua alatan yang diberi dalam soalan dan kemudian lakarkan. Dan kertas 2 bahagian C, soalan nombor 11, mengeksperimen wajib dijawab mengikut format KSSM. Manakala soalan nombor 12 dan 13 adalah pilihan dan perlu menjawab salah satu sahaja. Soalan yang berbentuk pendapat, pelajar hendaklah memberi alasan yang baik mengikut kehendak soalan. Mata pelajaran matematik pula, ia dipimpin oleh Cikgu Arzman bin Saad. Cikgu Arzman merupakan pakar yang tidak asing dalam pendidikan dan PDP matematik. Sering hadir memimpin PDP dalam didik TV dan pelbagai media. Seorang yang amat komited sehingga dia sendiri menduduki kertas matematik peperiksaan SPM setiap tahun sejak 2006 bagi mengalami dan menghayati isi kandungan dan impak soalan-soalan peperiksaan. Bengkel matematik pula memfokuskan format SPM KSSM, analisis SPM 2021, tajuk potensi kertas 2, kaedah dan teknik menjawab, jalan kerja minima, markah maksima dan strategi menjawab soalan peperiksaan. Sebagai memanfaatkan kehadiran pakar dan guru cemerlang mata pelajaran, satu bengkel untuk guru-guru pula telah diadakan dipimpin oleh Cikgu Ismi Kamarul Syam. Guru-guru dari SMK Air Kuning telah disertai oleh guru-guru Sekolah Menengah Cenderiang dan Sekolah Menengah Datuk Panglima Perang Kiri. Bengkel yang bertajuk Program Membina Kecemerlangan Generasi Revolusi Industri 4.0 telah mendapat sambutan positif kerana ini adalah satu input yang jarang-jarang mereka perolehi. Bengkel ini memberi tumpuan kepada teknik-teknik bagi membangun serta memupuk minat dan daya dorongan terhadap peningkatan prestasi dan kecemerlangan pelajar. Sesi ini juga memberi huraian dan impak KSSM dan kebat bagi menambah kefahaman dan penghayatan peranan dan pedagogi perlu bagi guru-guru untuk memanfaatkan kurikulum baru seperti yang dimatlamatkan oleh KPM.
Start. Okay, dah. Bye.
Laungan kita Malaysiaku, tanah airku, negaraku.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good evening. Can you hear me? Please respond first so that I know that everyone can hear me. Can someone please respond so that I know I'm not talking to myself? Can you hear me? Said, can you hear me? And can you see my screen now? I've shared my slides. Can someone please respond to me? Yes, okay, good. All right. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good evening. Welcome once again to the Impact program. So we meet once again. The last time we met was, I believe, a couple of months ago. And during our first meeting, we touched on 1119/2 paper writing. And we focused on both part 1 and part 2. So as for tonight, we are going to look back at both parts once again. Why did we want to focus on part 1 and part 2? Because I believe these two parts are actually the parts where you can actually score more marks compared to part 3. Because remember, for writing there are 3 parts altogether. Ada 3 bahagian kan? And as you progress from part 1 to part 2 and part 3, it will be more challenging. Therefore, we want to focus on part 1 because we believe that part 1 is the part where you should be able to score a good marks. Okay. And okay, I'm going to touch on part 1, email writing, whereas my partner, Mr. Said Nur Yazid, will be focusing on part 2. So, what am I going to look at in part 1 is that I'll be recapping on the APP or app technique, which I first introduced a couple of months ago. Next, I will also recap on the tips which I've shared on how to write a good answer for part 1. After that, I'll be sharing with you once again the template of writing an email, followed by we will be doing one trial question from last year's SPM 2021. And last but not least, we will be looking at the common problems faced by students when it comes to writing part 1. Okay, so remember the steps. A stands for analyze. So what are you supposed to do in analyzing stage? This is where you should read and understand the stimulus or the question. Okay, as you read the question, okay, please read at least twice. Okay, don't read just once. Okay, baca sekurang-kurangnya 2 kali. Don't just read once. And as you read the question, don't forget to use your highlighter to highlight the keywords or maybe the phrases or even the task. The first P stands for plan. In planning, remember to brainstorm your ideas where you're supposed to jot down all your ideas related to the task from the question. Masa ni kamu kena brainstorm idea. Apa yang kamu nak tulis in your essay. And lastly, the second P stands for present. This is where you should write your email in about 80 words. And when you write your email, don't forget to use the cohesive devices or connectors, because there is mark for using cohesive devices and connectors. Also, don't forget to insert your feelings or give your opinions, and make sure that you write your email in an informal style. When we say informal, so the thing that you should remember is to use contraction. All right. And the question which I believe English teachers always get is, Cikgu, can we write more than 80 words? Of course, you can write more than 80 words, but remember, the more you write, the more tendency you have to make mistakes. So if possible, try to write in about 80 words only. But if you are confident in your writing, then go ahead. We won't stop you. And another thing is, please don't count the number of words, because examiners won't be counting the number of words. Okay, don't waste your time counting the number of words, but use the time to double check your tenses, your grammar, your spelling, and so on. Okay, jangan kira bilangan perkataan, because it is not important. All right, next one. I'll be sharing with you the tips for part 1. I've shared this one during our first meeting, but I'll recap once again. So number 1, remember, you are writing an informal email, therefore keep it short and simple. Number 2, write simple and direct English. Don't make it sound very complicated or very formal. Number 3, as I said just now, insert your feelings, insert your opinion. Number 4, always elaborate your points. How to elaborate your points? Use the WH questions. I'm sure by now you should know already what are WH questions. You can write in the comments. Okay, I'll read later on what are WH questions. Number 5, this is very, very important. It's very, very important for you to use cohesive devices and connectors in part 1, or be it in part 2 and part 3 as well. Okay. Also, please write the examples of cohesive devices or connectors that you know in the comments below. And last but not least, since you have the introduction, don't forget to provide a short and sweet ending to your email. Right. This is basically the simplest template of an email. All right. Those of you who are wondering what is a template, inilah bentuk macam mana kamu kena tulis an email. Alright, I'm sure there are Form 4 students joining us tonight. Welcome to welcome to all of you. It's okay if you're Form 4 or Form 5. You're Form 5, then we are preparing you for the real SPM. Alright, your trial ended already, and I hope you were able to answer the question well. Okay, so template of an email. Remember, number 1, you should have an introduction followed by the body of the email, and lastly, you should have a closure. Okay, how many paragraphs? Another famous question asked by my students. Up to you. If you want to write introduction in 1 paragraph, and then body of email in a different paragraph, and closure in another different paragraph, that means you have 3 paragraphs, it's fine. Or if you want to write everything in 1 paragraph, since you said this is an email, also fine. Okay, tak ada masalah. It is entirely up to you. Okay, follow whichever convention that is appropriate, that is comfortable to you. Okay. All right, let's look at the 2021 SPM trial question. So the question is from Johor, 2021 SPM trial paper. So I'll give you 1 minute for you to read the question. Or maybe we can read together. Okay, you received an email from your friend who is planning a surprise birthday celebration for the mother. Hello, how are things? I hope you are keeping well. Anyway, next week is my mom's birthday. I am planning to have a surprise birthday celebration for her. It will be my first time planning a birthday celebration. I need your opinion on a few matters. What should I prepare for the event? Where do you think the event should be held? Who else should I invite? I'll be waiting for your reply by. Now write an email to your friend in about 80 words and you have to write your answer below. Okay, remember the steps just now? The APP. The first step that you should do is to analyze the question. So again, just to refresh your memory, when I say read and understand the question, that means you have to read the question at least twice, sekurang-kurangnya 2 kali, so that you really understand the needs of the question. Kamu kena betul-betul faham kehendak soalan. If not, you will lose your marks for the content. Please remember that. Okay, and as you read the question for the second time or the third time, don't forget to highlight the keywords or phrases or tasks. That is the first thing that you should do in analyzing stage. Okay, let's analyze the question. All right. What should I prepare for the event? This is T1, stands for task number 1. Where do you think the event should be held? This is T2 or task number 2. And lastly, who else should I invite? This is task number 3. So all together, how many tasks that you must fulfill in order to score a 5 for content? There are 3 tasks. Okay? All right. So I've written the 3 tasks here. T1 or task 1, what should I prepare for the event? T2, where do you think the event should be held? And T3, who else should I invite? So this is what you have found in the analyzing stage after you have read the question thoroughly. Step number 2, okay, you have to plan your ideas. Okay, nak plan benda apa? What are you supposed to plan? Inilah jawapan for the all 3 tasks. Okay, you need to brainstorm ideas for all these 3 tasks. P1, the question, what should I prepare for the event? Okay, maybe you can talk about food. Okay, preparing food. Or maybe you can talk about preparing birthday present. Okay. T2, where do you think the event, sorry, I missed the T there, the event should be held? You can write maybe at home or at a restaurant, up to you. And T3, who else should I invite? You can say neighbors, friends, cousins, etc. So now you already have your ideas on what you want to write for T1, T2, T3. So remember, if you write all this in your email, definitely you will score 5 out of 5 for your content, regardless of any grammatical mistakes. Tak apa, kalau ada salah grammar pun, as long as you have your content, janji kamu menjawab, you fulfill the task, you will still get a 5. Full marks tu for content. Okay, it's easy, right, to score 5 for content as long as you determine the task in the question and you brainstorm your ideas to fulfill the task. Alright, step number 3, this is where you start writing your email. Okay, before you start writing your email, don't forget all the cohesive devices, okay, all the phrases that you feel like writing your email. Okay, use all that in your email. But I won't be giving the answer. Okay, later, I want you to try and answer this question on your own and you can share your answer to your teacher. Okay, moving on. All right, I want to focus more on this. Okay, the common problems. Okay, these are the common problems that I see students face when it comes to writing part 1, email writing. Okay, the first one is sometimes when they get the question, I don't know, maybe because they are too nervous or they become flustered, so they don't know how to start off the email, or maybe they get blank how to start off the email. Okay, this is the first problem. Problem number 2, they don't know what to write in the introduction. Okay, when this happens, if you don't know what to write in your introduction, definitely you won't be able to finish writing the email, even though it is only in about 80 words, because you don't know what to write, how to start. Number 3, sometimes you memorize a lot of cohesive devices or connectors, but the problem is you don't know how to use them appropriately. Remember, you have to use those cohesive devices or connectors appropriately in order to score a good marks for organization. Okay, it doesn't mean that you just simply use the cohesive devices or connectors here and there. Kamu simply guna sana sini, guna janji ada. No, you will not get marks for that. It must be used appropriately. So number 3, the common problem among students is that they tend to use the cohesive devices or connectors inappropriately. The following problem is, this is a major problem which I believe faced by many students. They are lacking of elaboration in fulfilling each task. Okay, just now we have 3 tasks. So each task, they just simply give a simple idea. Okay, what you should do in order to score a 5 is you must give a straightforward ideas using the conventions of communicative tasks reasonably appropriately in order to score a 5 for communicative achievement. And lastly, okay, the last common problem faced by students is that they often make careless spelling mistakes. Yang ni sangat-sangat bahaya. This is very, very dangerous. You should avoid this mistake because this will affect your language marks. Okay, but please remember, for part 1, okay, you can still make some errors as long as the meaning can still be determined. Kamu boleh buat kesalahan, tetapi pastikan kesalahan kamu tu tidak mengganggu maksud ayat. You can still score a 5 for part 1. Okay, that is why we want to focus on part 1 and part 2 because it's very easy for you to score marks even though you will maybe make mistakes. Okay. Alright. Problem number 1. You don't know how to start off the email. I'm going to provide the solution for you. Okay. Let's look at the Johor paper to try a question once again. Okay. Remember, don't read just one. Read at least twice. Alright. Hello, how are things? I hope you are keeping well. Anyway, next week is my mom's birthday. I am planning to have a surprise birthday celebration for her. It will be my first time planning a birthday celebration. I need your opinion on a few matters. Okay, I'll just read up until that point. So, if you look at the first question, how are things? Your friend asked about yourself. How are things? So, this is a question given by or asked by your friend. The second one, which I underline here is, next week is my mom's birthday. I am planning to have a surprise birthday celebration for her. What is this? Is it a question? No, this is a statement. So you are given a statement by your friend. What is the statement about? The statement is about your friend's mom's birthday is around the corner. And do you have any other clue on how you can start off your email? Yes, one more. I need your opinion on a few matters. So you know that your friend is asking for your opinion on a few matters. What matters? It has to be something that is related to a surprise birthday celebration for his or her mother. All right. Sometimes your friend who sends you the email might ask for your advice, or maybe you are supposed to give suggestion. Usually these 3: opinion, advice, or suggestion. So read the stimulus or read the question carefully because there is clue for you on how to start off the email. It's not difficult actually. Okay. Next one, after you know how to start off the email, you need to know what to write. Okay, what to write in the introduction? Look at the questions, look at the statement that I have already underlined. So number 1, question. To answer how are things, you can just say, things are going great for me. All right, this is one of the possible answers. Second one, statement. Okay, your friend mentioned about his or her mom's birthday. and your friend is planning to throw a surprise birthday celebration for her, so you can just say, that is so cool that you're planning to throw a surprise birthday party for your mom. Okay, to answer the statement. All right, and look at the sentence there. That's so cool. You're planning. So I use contraction. Okay, when you use contraction, we will consider it as informal. So use lots and lots of contractions in your email. Number 3, because your friends ask for your opinion, so you can say, in my opinion, or you can say, I suggest you to. It means I would suggest you to, blah, blah, blah. Or, well, if I were you, you can continue. So let's look at an example of introduction that you can write. Hi, how are you doing? Things are going great for me. That's so cool that you're planning to throw a surprise birthday party for your mom. Don't worry, I'm writing this email as I want to share my opinion on the matter with you. Okay, you see, this is a very straightforward introduction, but it is very, very clear. Okay, when examiner reads your introduction, the examiner knows already what you are planning to write in your email, that you are about to share your opinion. Okay, how do you know that you have to share your opinion? You can take it from the question, because your friend said, I need your opinion. So you just write, I want to share my opinion, or I want to give my opinion. Okay, this is how you should write the introduction. The clues are given already in the question. So that's why you need to read the question carefully. Okay. All right, students, if you have any question, you can just post it in the comment. I will read your comments after this and answer to them later. All right. Okay, number 3. This is also a main problem among students, using cohesive devices inappropriately. So as you can see here, these are some of the examples of cohesive devices, but I'm not going to touch on all. Okay, I'm going to touch on 2 cohesive devices, which I believe are the main concern now. All right, the first one, using cohesive devices inappropriately when it comes to adding new information. When you want to add new information, what are the cohesive devices that you can use? Please write in the comments. Okay, again, my question, when you want to add new information, what are the cohesive devices that you can use to add the new information? Okay, please make sure you write your answers. Okay, let's look at this example. Hi, how are you doing? Things are going great for me. That's so cool that you're planning to throw a surprise birthday party for your mom. Moreover, I think you should prepare a few things before the party, such as the food. Is this the correct way for you to use the cohesive device moreover? Yes or no? The answer is no. This is wrong. Okay, even though you have a cohesive device there, but this will not be considered as a cohesive device because it is being used inappropriately. Tak betul, penggunaan yang tidak tepat. Remember, you use moreover when you want to add new information after you have given one. Kamu dah bagi satu, bila kamu nak tambah lagi satu, then only you use moreover. Okay, so how to use this cohesive device appropriately? Let's look at this example. Let's look at the second paragraph. Well, I think you should prepare a few things before the party, such as the food that you plan to cook. Okay, you have given one idea already. Okay, think about prepare the food, and then you want to give one more thing for you to prepare. You want to give one more information, so you use moreover. You should also think about the birthday present for your beloved mom. So this is the correct way for you to use the cohesive device moreover in order for you to add new information. Okay, do you understand? Okay, second one. Okay, I always see that students like to use this cohesive device after that to add new point. Okay, remember, you only use after that for sequences or for processes only. okay? Or maybe in narrative, in a story. That is okay. But for you to add new information using the word after that, it is inappropriate. Let's look at this example. Let's look at second paragraph straight away. Well, I think you should prepare a few things before the party, such as the food that you plan to cook. Moreover, you should also think about the birthday present for your beloved mom. Okay, you want to answer the third question, which is who should I invite? Okay, by right, you want to add new information. Okay, so you use after that, you can invite your neighbors and her friends to come over. Okay, this is used incorrectly because remember, after that should be used for sequencing and process only. Okay, so what is the correct way of answering T3 just now? Okay, moreover, you should also think about the birthday present for your beloved mom. Also, you can invite your neighbors and her friends to come over. This is more appropriate. So if possible, try to avoid using after that because there are many other cohesive devices that you can use to add new information such as furthermore, in addition, additionally, other than that, besides, and so on. Okay? Next one, problem number 4, another major issue with the students. Okay, lack of elaboration for each task. Okay, what do I mean by lack of elaboration? Okay, you tend to give simple ideas only. Okay, you give simple ideas in simple ways. All right, for example, the T1 just now. Okay, what was the question for T1? What should I prepare? So the first thing, you should prepare a few things before the party such as food. Okay, you want to provide one more things for you to prepare. You should also think about the birthday present. This is very simple. Simple ideas and written in such a simple way. How to make it more straightforward but using the conventions of the communicative task reasonably appropriately. That means you have to provide more, give more elaboration. For example, for T1, the first one, you should prepare a few things before the party, such as the food that you plan to cook. I suggest you to cook her favorite dish like spaghetti carbonara. Your mom loves it so much, right? The second one, you should also think about the birthday present for your beloved mom. Maybe you can get her a dark scarf that she has always wanted. All right, so this is how you score a 5 for CA in part 1. In fact, you should do the same for part 2 and part 3 as well. Okay, but is it wrong for you to write simple ideas? No, it's not wrong because what matters here is that you have your contents. Tak salah pun yang atas ni. Okay, you will still get marks 5 out of 5 for your contents. Kalau kamu menjawab konten tu, kamu menjawab soalan akan dapat 5. But remember, you are marked based on 4 criteria: content, communicative achievement, organization, and language. So we want to score 5 for all 4 criteria in order for you to get 20 out of 20. So you have to give elaboration. Okay, sometimes for elaboration, you can just give your reasons, you can give examples, you can give statistics, okay, or you can write quotes. So this is how you can elaborate your points actually, okay. Next one, let's look at T2. Okay, where kan, the question where, it means tempat lah, di mana. You can have the party at home. This is very simple idea, written in a very simple way. How to make it more straightforward, more sophisticated, more complicated, more complex? I suggest that you throw the party in the comfort of your home and you get to save your money too. Okay, I'm sure you can write like this. It's very straightforward actually. Okay, try to think more and write more. All right. Okay, for the last one, T3. Who should I invite? You can invite your neighbors and friends to the party. Is it simple? Yes, it is simple idea. How to make it more complex, more complicated? I think you can invite your lovely neighbors and some of your mom's dearest friends over to the party. As they say, the more the merrier. Okay, I'm sure you have heard this saying, the more the merrier. So you can use them in your part 1 to provide elaboration for your task. Okay? So if you have any question, just hit the comment below. Write your comments. I will answer to it after this. Okay, next one. Okay, the last one. Okay, another common mistake which is you tend to do, which is spelling mistakes. Okay, you tend to write or spell words incorrectly. For example, common words like surprise. You spell without the first R, surprise. Because the pronunciation is like that, surprise. So you forgot the first R. And then the cohesive device furthermore. This is
You know what I mean?
very common. Sorry? Okay. Do you want to say something?
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Another common.
No. Go ahead. Sorry for this.
Okay, it's okay. Where was I? Okay, another common mistake is the spelling of the cohesive device or the word furthermore. You tend to omit or to leave the first R. F-U-T-H-E-R. That is wrong. Remember to spell furthermore, there are 3 R's. And last but not least, besides. You tend to write beside without the S and so on. Okay, and another confusion among students is that they cannot differentiate between British English and American English. Yes, it is undeniable that we are being influenced largely by American English because the songs, the movie, the news, the article that you read online are mostly written in American English. But remember, okay, we have to follow British English. Therefore, you have to stick to spelling words using British English. But is it wrong for you to use American English? This is my question. Please answer my question. Is it wrong for you to spell words using American English convention? Is it wrong? Okay, to answer my question, it depends on the context. Okay, if let's say in part 1, you choose to write using American English, so throughout your essay in part 1, you must use all American English words. For example, like color, neighbor, analyze, realize, all that. Everything has to be spelled in American English. Okay? But if you use American English and British English interchangeably, in other words, kamu mix. You mix the use of American English and British English. Sekejap guna American English, sekejap ejaan British English. Then we will penalize. Kita akan underline the words which are spelled using American English and we consider it as errors. So you need to know American English and also British English. So I have a few examples here. Okay, the word color, realize, center, analyze, traveling, grey, alamak jawapan dah tu, grey, program and neighbor. So now let's answer together. Color without you. Is this American English or British English? Please write your answer in the comment. This is American English. And color with O-U-R, this is British English. Okay, what about the word realize? With S-E, this is British English. And Z-E or Z-E, this is American English. Okay, very good. Next one, center. This is very confusing. T-R-E, this is American or British English? This is British English. T-E-R is American English. Okay, what about analyze, Z-E and analyze, S-E? Okay, you can refer to the word realize up there just now. So Z-E is definitely American English. S-E is definitely British English. Okay, what about traveling? Double L, single L. This word was tested in the listening test. So some of the students spelled traveling with one L. Some students spelled with double L. So which one is British English? Which one is American English? For listening, you have to follow British English. So double L is British English. One L, single L is American English. Yeah, this one grey. Tertulis lah pula. Okay, Gray, this is American English. Grey, this is British English. Okay, what about program with ME? This is British English. Program with the ME is definitely American English. And last one, the word neighbor, BOR without U. This is definitely American English. And BOUR, this is British English. Okay, so how? How do you remember the spelling between American and British English? It's very easy. Remember this sentence. American, okay, American people are lazy. Okay, American people are lazy. Why? Why did I say so? Because they love or they tend to drop one letter. For example, the word color. Color. Okay, so they drop the letter U. That is why we call them lazy. Okay, that is how you differentiate between British and American English. Okay? All right, I've come to the end of part 1 already, but before I pass the floor to my colleague, so let's recap the things that I have discussed in the last few minutes. Okay, so for summary for part 1, remember the app A stands for analyze, P stands for plan, and the second P stands for present. Number 2, remember the 6 tips that I've shared with you. Number 3, always read the question properly before you brainstorm your idea, before you write your email. Okay, read at least twice. Baca sekurang-kurangnya 2 kali because you really need to understand the question carefully. Okay. Number 4, write your email appropriately. Remember the template that I've given you. Your email should have an introduction followed by the body of the email, and also you must have the closure. And it depends on you whether you want to write in 3 paragraphs or 2 paragraphs or 1 paragraph. It doesn't matter as long as you follow the convention of an email. And one more thing to remember, when you write an email, make sure that you write it in informal tone. Okay? And last but not least, please try to avoid as many careless mistakes as possible, especially your spelling, your tenses, your grammar, okay? And how to avoid from making these common mistakes. Okay, remember to always double check your answers. Always double check your email, your essay, be it in part 1, part 2, or part 3. Spend a few minutes to double check your answers. Alright? So once again, if you have any question, ada soalan, if you have any question, please write in the comments below. Okay? That is all from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Azrul. So, all right. Hello, everyone. So I'm going to continue today's screen for me. Okay. Can everyone see?
We can't see your slides yet. Have you shared your screen?
Can you see it now? Yeah.
Yep, perfect.
Okay. All right. So I hope Mr. Azrul already explained clearly to you what the do's and don'ts in writing part 1. As he mentioned before, yes, we are focusing on part 1 and part 2 because it's easier for you to score most students not that panjang 3 lah. So most of them most of my students usually answered part 1, they left part 2 first, and then they answer part 3 first, second, because they thought, yes, you have to write around 200 to 250 words for part 3. They thought that they needed more time to write part 3, but it's easier for you to score part 1 and part 2 compared to part 3. Okay, so that's why we are focusing more on part 1 and part 2. Okay, if you've scored part 1 20 over 20 and part 2, if you scored let's say you got 18 over 20, so you already got 38 over 60. That's already more than half. So uh, so in order for you to score part 3 20 over 20 is quite challenging compared to part 1 and part 2. Okay, so now we're going to continue for part 2, guided writing. Okay, first I'm going to criteria. Okay, this is what your teachers refer to when they want to give you marks for your essay. Okay, let's have a look at the content. Okay, to score 5, all content is relevant to the task and target reader is fully informed. Okay, this goes the same for part 1, part 2, and part 3. This is how they award mark for content. Okay, so the same thing for part 1 and part 2 and part 3. Okay, you have to all the tasks given. Okay, later I'll show you the simplified version. Okay, and then for communicative achievement, okay, it says uses the conventions of the communicative task. Okay, uses the conventions meaning that in part 1, it is more informal thing because you're writing the email to your friends, you're writing the email to your brothers or sister or your neighbor. So the tone is informal, okay, tidak berapa rasmi, tak rasmi. But for in part 2, usually the questions setting soalan tu, you are writing the essay to your friends and teacher, meaning that you're in class. So jadi essay tu dah jadi formal writing. Okay, and that's why when you are part, cannot write the way you write in part 1. Okay, tak boleh lah macam hi, how are you, macam tak boleh. You cannot include onomatopoeia, wow ke apa tu, tak boleh lah. Okay, and then continue to hold the target reader's attention. Okay, to hold the target reader's attention, untuk mengekalkan attention pembaca tu. Who's the reader? The reader is the teacher lah. So you need to write in a way where you are able to hold the target reader's attention and communicate straightforward ideas appropriately. Okay, and then for organization, text is generally well organized and coherent. Okay, well, coherent ni maksudnya lancar. Okay, using a variety of cohesive devices. As mentioned in part 1 before, Mr. Azrul mentioned, yes, in part you have to use cohesive devices appropriately. Okay, so you cannot just simply put. Okay, so for part 2, same thing, but you need to use a variety. Variety meaning pelbagai. Maksudnya banyak dan pelbagai. Maksudnya you cannot avoid repeating the same cohesive device. Sorry. And then for language, for you to score 5 is uses a range of everyday vocabulary with occasional inappropriate use of less common lexis. Okay, less common lexis ni adalah perkataan yang jarang digunakan. I simplify it for you. Okay, perkataan yang jarang digunakan. I'll show you examples later. And then score 5 is uses a range of simple and some complex grammatical forms with a good degree of control. Okay, you have to use some complex grammatical form. Ayat complex. Ayat complex we'll see later. And then with a good degree of control. Maksud dia tak banyak salah. Okay, good degree of control. Katalah you have a lot of complex, do not impede communication. Errors in part 2 as well, but make sure it doesn't impede communication. Impede tu maksud dia macam tak terlampau ganggu bacaan tu. Okay, so if the examiner needs to reread your sentence 2 to 3 times, meaning that already impedes the communication. Okay, now this is a simplified version. How to get marks for each. Answer all 3 tasks. Simple as that. Okay, jawab ketiga-tiga tugasan tu, confirm 5/20. Okay, and then for communicative achievement, what you need to do is attention catching introduction. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you have to catch the reader's attention in your first sentence in the introduction. Okay, this will secure the marks for communicative achievement. And then what you can do to get 5 in communicative achievement is include the reader. Okay, include the reader, turut sertakan pembaca. How do you include the reader in your essay? You can ask questions, tanya soalan. Of course, you will be the one who answer the question. You won't expect the examiner to answer it for you. And then you have to use pronouns such as we, you, okay, us. That way you will include the in your essay. Okay, and then depending on the sentence, okay. And then number 3, for you to get 5 is you have to make sure your essay has a smooth reading. Smooth reading meaning if you have a lot of errors, yes, they will deduct marks for your language, but it will affect your communicative achievement mark. The examiner need to reread your sentence, meaning that it impedes meaning, so there's no smooth meaning, so it will deduct marks for your communicative achievement. Okay, for organization, for you to get 5, okay, paragraphing. Okay, how many paragraphs you need to write for guided writing? For email, you already know, Mr. Azro mentioned before, it's up to you whether you want to write 1 paragraph because it's an email, or you can write 3 paragraphs, introduction, body paragraph, and conclusion. And then for guided writing, okay, if you want to guess, please write in the comment section. How many paragraphs do you feel is needed to get high marks for organization? Okay, and then number 2, what you can do to get marks for organization is, first thing, when you get the question paper, you have to list down the cohesive devices. Okay, I always remind my students this. Dapat je kertas soalan, you list down all the cohesive devices that you remember. Okay, because you're going to use the cohesive devices in part 1, part 2, and part 3. Okay, so take the time to you take which one you have used. Okay, but like Mr. Azro mentioned, you cannot just simply use any cohesive devices. So it has to be appropriately used. Okay, so list down all the cohesive devices, because when you're writing, sometimes we forgot to include the cohesive devices. Okay, asyik sangat kan tengah menulis sampai lupa nak guna. So when you have the list in on your question paper, you can refer which one you have used and which you have not used. Okay, and then for language, to get 5/20 is look for synonyms of common words. Okay, like it mentioned in the marking criteria, so how what you can do is you look for synonyms of common words. Perkataan common ni cari sinonim yang membuatkan your words more bombastic. Okay, and then use subordinating conjunction. Okay, kamu perlu guna subordinating conjunction to write complex grammatical forms. Okay, we'll have a look at each criteria. Now, for content. Okay, so this is an example has been seeing how they spend their money, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay about what you should spend your money on. See, the setting usually in a classroom and includes your classmate and your teacher. Okay, so in your essay, you should write about what you would like to buy, reasons for your choice, and where do you usually buy these things. So in part 2, you don't have to worry because it is clearly stated that the task given to you, these 3 bullet points there. Okay, so you know already, okay, here are the 3 tasks that you need to answer. Okay, so once you already know what your task, I suggest you to jot down notes, simple notes answering those tasks like this. Okay, so here's the content. What you don't have to write in a sentence because you will waste your time. You will write your sentence in your answer sheet. Okay, so you put the note. What would you like to buy? A guitar. Reasons for your choice. Okay, I suggest you to give at least two reasons. Okay, you can actually give one reason, but you need to have an elaborate explanation, okay, why you choose a guitar. So just to be safe, if the task says reasons, there's an S, meaning that you have to give more than one reason. Okay, so here I state, okay, why? Because love music and then wants to learn how to play guitar. Okay, all right, so that's your main point. Okay, and then task 3, where do you usually buy these things? Mana kamu selalu beli? You can state there, Yamaha Music Shop. So by answering these 3 tasks, you already gain 5 out of 20. And score for communicative achievement. Okay, like I said, you need to catch the reader's attention. How? You have to have an interesting introduction. Okay, these are the ways to start an introduction. You can use repetition. Okay, since the topic is about money, you said money, money, money. All of us need money. However, we need to spend our money wisely. Okay, so by doing so, it will keep the engaged in your writing. Okay, besides catching the attention, remember I mentioned, saya cakap dah, you need to include the reader. Okay, kita kena turut serta. That's why in the introduction it states all of us, kita semua. So that way you include the reader. Bukan saya seorang je yang perlukan duit, you also need the money. So all of us need money. So the reader will, oh yeah, I also need money. Okay, kan? And so however, we need to spend our money wisely. Once again, including the reader in your essay. But I suggest you to include the reader for the introduction and conclusion part. Okay, sometimes you cannot use every sentence. Okay, so you can use in the introduction and conclusion is enough. Okay, and then you can start number two. Another way to start your introduction is you can use question. Okay, what would you do if you have 1 million ringgit? So again, including the reader, what would you do? So the examiner will think about, oh, what would I do if I have 1 million? Oh, I'll stop being a teacher lah. Okay, so that way you include the reader in your essay. And how should you spend your money? Okay, again, okay, talking about the topic. Okay, or you can use fact or opinion. Fact meaning you don't have to actually get the fact from Google, the data. If you can, by all means, you can do so. But fact meaning like this lah. Okay, everything costs money nowadays. Fact. Okay, semuanya perlukan duit. Okay, nothing is free in this world. Okay, that is also a fact or opinion. So you can start your by using these methods. Okay. And then, okay, now we're moving on to ways to gain marks for organization. Like it mentioned in the marking criteria, it must be well organized and cohesive. Okay, perlulah susun dengan elok dan teratur. Okay, so like I asked just now, how many paragraphs do you think guided writing need to have? So I suggest you I suggest you 5 paragraphs. Okay, paragraph 1 talk about the introduction. Paragraph 2 explaining task 1. Okay, what would you like to buy? Just now I'm referring to the question just now. Okay, task 1, what would you like to buy? And task 2, reasons for your choice. And task 3, where do you usually buy this thing? Okay, and then paragraph 5, conclusion. Okay, some of the students ask me, what if I put in paragraphs, introduction, and then task 1, task 2, and task 3 in one paragraph, and third paragraph is for the conclusion. Okay, it's easier for you to separate this task in 3 different paragraphs because it will be easier for the examiner to find your points. Okay, so kamu mudahkan kerja examiner will gladly give you marks. Okay, senang sikit dia nak baca ya karangan. Okay, so we'll continue. Okay, so for introduction, this attention. Okay, kamu perlu minat pembaca. How? By using the ways I explained earlier lah. Okay, and then you need to guide the reader to the topic. Okay, jangan jawab lagi all the 3 tasks in your introduction. Guide the reader to your topic, meaning that you can give statements or opinions on the topic as a general idea. Okay, but you cannot answer the 3 tasks yet. Okay, that comes later. So in the body paragraph, I only put here 1. So meaning that you have to have 3 body paragraph for each task. Okay, so in the second paragraph, third and fourth paragraph, you need to state the content point. Where to get the content point? The 3 tasks given lah. Okay, and then you need to give elaboration, huraian, by using WH questions. Usually, I suggest my students to to question yourself. Usually, I use the question why. Okay, contohnya, what would you like to buy? A guitar. You need to Okay, why you choose a guitar. And then second, reasons for your choice. I love music. Okay, so why you love music? Because I want to play. I want to learn how to play guitar. So you can for the elaboration, you can give why you want to learn how to play guitar. Okay, so that is elaboration. So how many elaborations you need to write? Okay, how many WH questions you need to use? Okay, depending on your time and your ability to give the elaboration lah. Okay, so let's say if you don't have any ideas, one is already enough for each content point. Okay, all right, and then give example. Okay, if necessary, you can give example. Bagi contoh. Okay, and then recap, sebut balik pasal content point task tu. Okay, task 1, task 2, task 3. Okay, cerita balik. Okay, and then for the conclusion, what you can write for your conclusion is your POV about the topic, your point of view, your opinion about the topic. Okay, and then you can write about your hope, harapan kamu, or you can write about a well-known quote, powerful line. Okay, so this one, you need to have a prepared. Sorry, you have to have a well-known quote and powerful line prepared. Okay, you have to remember, like idioms, right? So you need to use that in your conclusion to I'm having problem. It doesn't
Yeah, we lost you for a while just now.
really.
Yep.
Where did I stop just now?
The last point.
All right. Can you see my screen? Last point. Sorry.
Yep. We are now at organization.
Yeah. Can you did you hear me explaining about the conclusion?
Yes, we just missed you the last few points a bit only.
Okay. All right. So okay, I'll just repeat for conclusion. You need to have a well-known quote or powerful line. Okay. So you can prepare beforehand. Okay, Google. I'm sure you already know a few powerful lines or quotes. But you have to use it appropriately related to the topic. Okay. Okay. All right. So another way for you to score marks for organization is you need to use conjunctions. Okay. Yes. For part one as well, you need to use conjunctions. Here are the examples: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So you can use in your essay. So I don't want to touch more on this because it's quite simple. Okay. For another way for organization is you need to have cohesive devices. Okay, like Mr. Azro mentioned in part one before, you need to have cohesive devices and you need to use it appropriately. So these are the examples of cohesive devices and their functions. Okay, for sequencing, you have to use first of all, mula-mula, secondly, next, then finally. Okay, if you want to talk about the cause and effect, you can use because, so, therefore, etc. And then if you want to compare, you can say similarly this way, so and so on. Okay, so you can have a look at this note later. Okay, all right. Also, these are sorry. Okay, so these are the cohesive devices that you need to write uh, first thing when you get the question paper. All right, so now we are moving on to language. Okay, like it mentioned before, you need to use less common lexis. So here in the left box, you can see those are the common vocab that you usually use. Okay, so on the right side is the less common vocab. So for a common one, you usually use buy. Okay, for less common, you use purchase. Okay, common bad, less common awful. Common help, less common assist. Common suggest, less common propose. Common happy, less common glad. Okay, so now in the comment section, I would like you to give me a synonym for the less common words that you know. The word is big. Okay, so you type in the less common words used to replace big. Okay, all right. So now another way to get it is you have to use subordinating conjunctions because you need to have complex grammatical forms. So this is how I remind my students. Okay, remember this acronym ISA WAWA BAP. Okay, I stands for if, as, since, as, when, although, while, after, before, until, because. So you need to use these subordinating conjunctions to create uh, complex grammatical form. Nak kena guna berapa se? Nak kena guna semua ke? No. Because in the marking criteria pun it mentioned some. Okay, beberapa. So I don't want to tell you how many you want to use. If you can use as many as possible, by all means. Okay. Dia takkan kurang markah pun. Okay. So use the subordinating conjunctions that you are familiar with. Okay, if, when, because. Okay, so you can use that to create complex grammatical forms. Okay, so example is complex grammatical forms. What is complex sentences? Okay, I don't want to look at a simple and complex. Let's have a look at the complex sentence. Okay, contains an independent clause and a dependent clause. Okay, dependent clause begins with the subordinating conjunction. Okay, kena ada subordinating conjunctions. Okay, look at the example. Because the boys went to the park, they did not go to the zoo. Okay, ada because kat situ. And then second one, the boys did not go to the zoo because they went to the park. It's the same thing, but that's the way you write. Okay, so ada je subordinating conjunction, it will be considered as complex grammatical forms. Okay, easy, right? Okay, so here's like I've shown you in the first part. Okay, your class has been discussing how they spend their money, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay about what would you spend your money on. So in your essay, you should write about, so these are the 3 tasks. Okay, so here is the sample answer. Okay, remember you need to start your introduction by catching the reader's attention and including the reader. Turut sertakan pembaca. Okay, so look at the introduction. We all need money in order to buy something that we like. So this candidate uses the pronoun we, including the reader. Okay, nothing is free in this world. Okay, the candidate gives a fact, okay, or opinion. Okay, so therefore, when we have money, we need to use it wisely. Okay, if it is spent on the things that we don't need, we will waste our money. So that is a very good way to write an introduction. So second paragraph, it talks about task 1. So as for me, if I have money, I would like to buy a guitar. Okay, an acoustic guitar has been in my wish list since I started watching song covers on YouTube. So, yang ni dia dah jawab dah. Dia dah menggunakan dah content point dia. Okay, answer dah task 1. I would like to buy a guitar. And then, how does this candidate elaborate? By answering the question why. Why you choose a guitar? Because I started watching song covers on YouTube. So dia tengok song covers dekat YouTube, so dia berminat nak beli gitar. So that's answering the question why. Okay, and then I've been dreaming on playing it, but I haven't had enough money to purchase it. Okay, purchase. He does this kind. They use purchase. Okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention to tell you. Berapa banyak sangat less common lexis nak kena guna, semua ke nak kena tukar jadi sinonim yang less common? No. Okay, you have to have a few. Okay. Alright, and then moving on to paragraph 3 talks about task 2, the reasons. Remember reasons? So this candidate provides 2 reasons. The reasons why I want to buy a guitar is because I love music. I knew how to play the piano before, but I want to learn something new. Okay, so it mentions it answers why you want to buy a guitar. Okay, because they want to learn something new. Okay, it would be amazing if I get to play more than one instrument. Okay, it says instrument here. Yes, of course, there are some grammatical errors there, but we'll have a look later. What score does this candidate get? Okay, moreover, I want to learn how to play the guitar by myself. Okay, that's the second reason. I can do that by watching tutorials on YouTube. In that way, I don't have to waste money on guitar lessons. Okay, and then the fourth paragraph answering the third task. I usually buy my instruments at this music shop called Yamaha. They have good quality instruments, so the price is expensive. However, it is worth it because it's better than low quality instruments. Okay, answering why you want to buy your musical instrument at the music shop called Yamaha. Okay, because of the quality. So that's why in elaborating your content point, usually you answer the question why. But if you don't have any idea macam mana nak jawab why, you can use who. Okay, contohnya, let's say you want to buy a guitar. Okay, who inspired you to learn how to play guitar? Let's say, so answering who. Okay, you can use it also. So in the conclusion, the last paragraph, it says, in a nutshell, I spend my money on guitar because that's what I need to play a new instrument. Okay, it touches on the topic. Okay, nak beli gitar balik tadi kan. Okay, they said money can't buy you happiness, but it can surely help me achieve my goals. So that's the ending. This candidate does powerful line, a quote, but they do have powerful line. Why they say money can't buy you happiness. Okay, that's a powerful line. Like we all heard that line before. Okay, I've highlighted the cohesive devices in purple and the subordinating conjunctions. So for language, you need to have subordinating conjunctions, correct? You need to have complex grammatical forms. So you need to use if. See, you need to use since, because, so. So that is for conjunctions. Okay, the ones that I've highlighted in yellow is to highlight the contents. Okay, so this candidate as answered 3 contents clear, but they do have some errors like this one. More than one instrument. Okay, so how many marks do you think this candidate gets? Okay, so this is the most. Okay, so content 5, because all contents are relevant to the task and target reader is fully informed. Why is it fully informed? Because the candidate answered all 3 tasks. Okay, so communicative achievement 5, because candidate uses the conventions of communicative tasks. Okay, guna bahasa yang formal. Okay, and then straightforward ideas are communicated. Okay, and then able to hold target readers' attention. Boleh menarik minat pembaca. Okay, look at the example. Okay, we all need money in order to sertakan pembaca. Okay, and then if I have money, I would like to buy a guitar. That is the correct convention. Okay, because the question asks, okay, soalan tu tanya, what would you do if you have money? So dia cakap lah, if I have money, I would like to buy a guitar. Okay, and then the third one is, they said money can buy you happiness, but it can surely help me achieve my goals. That is a way to hold the target reader's attention. Okay. And then for organization, for you to get 5, the essay is well organized and well paragraphed. Okay, well paragraphed. There are 5 paragraphs. There is a variety of cohesive devices. Banyak pelbagai. The examples are therefore, moreover, however, in a nutshell, okay, and so on. And then for language, it says the candidate uses a range of everyday vocabulary with appropriate use of less common lexis. Okay, dia guna vocabulary harian biasa saja with appropriate use of less common lexis. Ada sikit-sikit less common lexis yang perkataan yang jarang digunakan. And it contains some complex grammatical forms. Okay, for example, if I have money, I would like to buy a guitar. And then the second one is, an acoustic guitar has been in my wish list since I started watching song covers on YouTube. Okay, so this candidate gets 20 over 20. Okay, if you think you can write like that, then you will also be able to achieve 20 over 20. Another sample question that I would like you to do it together with me. Okay, so let's ask you to write an essay about benefits of having hobby. So in your essay, you should write about your hobby, when you usually do your hobby, and why you enjoy the hobby. So those are the 3 tasks given. Okay, and then let's have a look at how you should write the introduction. Okay, hang on. I'm having some difficulty. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, you are still at the same question.
At the question. Okay, hang on. I've been okay, while we're waiting for, you can see the 3 tasks that you need to answer is your hobby. Okay, what is your hobby? Okay, if you get this type of questions, please avoid giving common hobbies. Okay, we don't want to read about you playing football or reading books. Okay, unless you be able to say, then you can use that hobby. But if possible, use hobbies that are not common. Doing parkour, you can say that your hobby is doing magic tricks. Okay, so that way the reader the examiner won't be bored reading your essay. So, and then when do you usually do your hobby? When answering when, it doesn't specify when Sunday afternoon. It doesn't have to be like that. When you can say bored or when you feel stressed, that's when you usually do your hobby. And then why you enjoy your hobby? Okay, why? You need to give reason, correct? So how many reasons you need to give? So based on the question, read the last statement there. Write your essay using all the notes and giving reasons for your point of view. Okay, reasons. So you need to be safe, you have to give reason. Okay, still at the same screen. So I hope you bear with me, my technical problem.
Do you want me to help share screen? Would you like me to share slides?
Sharing first. Okay. I should hang on. I screen again. Yes, okay. I've read mostly um answered my question. Yes, big, enormous. Yes, important, fundamental. Yes.
Would you like me to share slides?
You cannot see my screen? Not yet?
Okay, I can see it now.
Okay, all right. Now, so for the introduction, what you can do is, like I said, like I mentioned before, attract the reader to the topic and include the reader. So this is what you can do. Okay, this is a question method. So how do you spend your leisure time? Okay, from that sentence alone, you've already completed the task. How do you spend your leisure time? You include the use a less common lexis. Leisure time. Okay. Leisure time. You didn't say free time. Also, do you waste your time doing pointless activities? Stop doing that. Okay. We need to spend our pastime doing mindful hobbies because it will benefit our lives. Okay. That's how you write a good introduction. Okay, so task one, your hobby. So possible answers that I like avoid boring hobbies. So you can say dance. So as for me, the hobby I enjoy is dancing. I've learned many dances, for instance, Zapin, Jogi, Inang, and even K-pop dance. Not many people know dancing aids our bodies and minds relax. Okay, so aids there. Replacing the word helps. Okay, I can use assist our body. Okay, all right. So task 2, I'm going a bit fast. I'm sorry because we are lack of time. And then task 2 is when do you usually do your hobby? Like I mentioned, you don't have to state the specific time. Okay, you can say, furthermore, I often do my hobby when I my social life. For your information, if we occupy our time doing a healthy hobby, we can channel our stress out in a healthy way. Therefore, we need to have a healthy hobby. You see, in this paragraph alone, it has two complex grammatical forms by using because and if. Okay, so 2 for each paragraph is more than enough, I think. Okay, and then task 3, why you enjoy your hobby? You can mention that because you can learn about the culture, history, or because you like listening to music. Okay, so you can say personally, I'm really into dancing because I can learn about the culture and history while dancing. Okay, another complex grammatical form. As we all know, different cultures have different types of dances. If you learn, if you dance this variety of dances, you will learn about their culture. Moreover, I am into dancing because I like listening to music. So I'm answering task 3 already. So for conclusion, you should end it with by inserting your feelings or opinions and have a powerful line. Remember, powerful line or quote. Okay, so for conclusion, you can say all in all, we all must have a hobby in order to have a healthy and happy life. To quote Albert Einstein, live life to the fullest. Okay, let's do so by doing something that you like. Okay, so that's ending your essay with a powerful quote or line. Okay, by quoting Albert Einstein. Please do not create your own quote, but using famous people. Okay, you need to have familiar quotes. Okay, you can Google this, you can search this on Google, powerful lines, powerful quotes. There are a lot of them. If you don't have any powerful lines or quotes in your memory, you can use the okay, or you can use from a song. Okay, let's say there are songs about money. So you can actually quote the singer or lines from a movie. Okay, quote the actor who said so in what movie. Okay, so in that way, it will be more interesting for the reader to read your essay, and it will be it will be able to hold the target reader's attention, hence giving you marks for guided writing. So I'm going to continue this part for Q&A session. So we have about 5 minutes left. So this session is a Q&A session. Please write your questions. What would you like to ask in the comment section, and we'll be gladly to answer the questions. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing mine. So if you have any questions, just write in the comment section. If you are able to answer the question, we will gladly answer your questions. Okay. I hope that you've all actually gained something from this session. And while we are waiting for the questions, never mind, I'm not ending the session yet. You just write the questions if you have any concerns. So I hope um, you'll be able to use the method that was mentioned by Mr. Azro before, the app, or you can use the method I've mentioned for writing the introduction and conclusion, and at least you've gained something. So now what you can do now is you look at the internet for powerful lines or quotes that you can use in your writing, and you can look for um, synonyms for the less common lexis. Okay. Okay. Okay, so there's no question yet from you. I hope uh, our presentation is clear for you. Okay, I think if there's no question, I would like oh, buffering. Okay, remember. Okay, sorry, baru baca. Okay, buffering. Alamak, sorry line problem. Okay, so I think if there's no question, we will end our session for tonight. I hope this session will help you for your future in writing part one and part two. Okay, so that is all from us. Thank you. Mr. Azrul, you want to add anything?
Oh, nothing. All the best to all the students for your SPM. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.